Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Carrie Waltz. I share tips, tools, and techniques for the artist in you, and today's focus will be a gouache painting that I had an inspiration from a pastel magazine. Today I'm giving myself a challenge. I'm going to paint a very small painting from an image in a magazine. This is a painting from Jane Hunt. I love her sky here. And I'm also inspired by James Gurney's gouache paintings, how he gets this glow. So I'm going to do something similar to this. I'm going to probably leave out the water, but I'm using that as my inspiration. And I'm using gouache. This was an oil painting, and it was a 24 by 18 inch painting. And this is a 4 by 5 inch piece of multimedia artboard. So the painting will actually be more like 3 by 4. So I'm also giving myself another challenge, and I'm setting myself a timer because I don't want to overwork it, and I'm going to see what I can do. So I'm going to give myself, I think, maybe 15 minutes for this one, and we'll see what I can do in that time frame. I already have the paper taped. I have clean water. This will be my, let me pull back a little bit so you can kind of see my setup. I have my gouache painting in my travel container here, and I pull from that and I mix on a disposable palette. I just painted this one a few minutes ago and enjoyed that, but now I'm going to set a timer and see if I can work quickly, efficiently, and not bump the camera. I'm filming with my phone, so we shall see. I'm going to cover that up. It's a little distracting. I have a little glare on the picture from the lamp that I'm using, so I might have to pick this up. Oh, I do love how I have it taped on just a 5 by 7 board that still has its plastic, and that way I can pick it up and move it around. All right, ready? Here we go. All right, I'm going to start with the warm tones underneath, and I'm going to build up the background. So I want my warm yellow, almost yellow orange, with white added in. Now the white does dull it. James Gurney, he does a lot of his with a casein underpainting, and that's way too yellow. Add more orange to that. Add more white to that. I'm just mixing right on the. Okay, that's too much, so I'm just gonna lift off some of that paint. It's gonna be a very dry underpainting. Probably way too dry, but oh, here, keep going. Don't have time to overanalyze. All right, the upper part is a blue, a dull blue. So I'm just taking some of the colors that I had from that previous painting. That's too dark. Get that yellow out of that brush. Add a little more violet in there. Whoa, there's a lot of violet. I'm just trying to do something with the colors that are on my palette. Okay, that is very, very rough. I'm going to take this brush, blur it together. That is not how I would paint this normally. I'm probably messing it up because I'm timing myself. But, you know, sometimes it works. Paper towels are also a good painting tool. So because this multimedia artboard can really take a beating, kind of like the Timex watch takes a beating, and whoops, see how I just dulled that? Maybe that's where the landform will be. We'll just start the landform down here. It's kind of similar to that last one I did, but okay, I want that a blur. So drag my brush along there, let that kind of blur out. Green is more in the foreground. A little bit in here. Oh gosh, I'm dodging my lamp. I'm not going to put any water. I don't think. No. Dry brush effect is actually pretty nice sometimes. Okay, let's go back and do something with this sky. It's looking pretty troubled. White plus the violet, neutralize that with the little yellow ochre. Now I think I'm way too light in value. Let's see how that's too blue. That's too green. Well, it really is kind of a odd odd color of the sky. Let's see. Those two just do not work together. We're going to redo this. Add some more of this color in. You have to be really careful with the purple going into the yellow, but that yellow is too bright anyway. So I'll neutralize it anyway. Golly. Oh, forget how easy Multimedia Artboard lifts up. Okay, I want it a little darker in there because that's where it's going to be pink, more orange. Oh, that's way too pink. Needs to be more orange. That's warmer. Okay, that's too dark. When I squint between those two, mine's way too dark. So, I'll lean away from my light. Maybe I can see it better. If I just add white into here and just mix it right on top. Oh gosh, if this works out, it's going to be amazing. But you know, sometimes you just have to work through, push through, and ends up better than you think when you're done. But sorry, Jane Hunt, you're not gonna want me to claim that yours was an inspiration because it's not looking anything like yours. All right, that's a better value. All right, but I just don't like the background color. Even though it's very similar to what she has, I'm gonna change it. So here we go. I'm just gonna make that more violet. Okay. There is more yellow warm tones going up in there, so I can layer that on top. Pick some more up. All right, I'm liking that better. Some of that up in here. Do not like the texture I got in here. Okay, get some more white. Add that warmth of the yellow and the orange. Some more white. I want the background a little. I want to know where the sky is versus the clouds. And right now I do not have a good separation. So that's when I'm coming back and adding this lighter tone to create more of a softer sky. All right, let that dry for a minute. And we'll come down here and work on the ground. All right, the only green that I have in this palette is like, man, Kelly green, and then I have this lime, almost neon green. So we have to neutralize those anytime I paint nature. So I'm sure I could get a different palette with, that's too dark too, with the gouache, but I just want to use what I have right now. All right, so I just added orange to that. I'm going to add some more orange to that, make it more of a warm orange. Okay, in her painting, her tree right here breaks the background. It's kind of similar to the last one I painted, but it's okay. Hopefully the sky will be quite a bit different. That's what I kind of want to work on. All right, and there's some low trees here, further off. And clump. Let me get some blue, more blue. Get a blue-green kind of going. A little darker. And, oh, well, she has some darks in the foreground. It is going to be darker because it's backlit. So, I'm not going to worry about it. I might even decide to put the illusion of water down there. Why not? Okay, sky tones would be kind of like this. Reflections should be drugged down. be a reflection. I'll drag that down a little bit. Add some muted colors to the ground. Some, oh, that's too watery. Dab my brush. I want a little more light where the sun's coming through the clouds. We'll turn this a little sideways, get more blue in there, make that a little darker. Could add black to make that darker. Let's see. I hardly ever use black. When I tilt my head, I see that this is much darker than I have it. I have a glare from my lamp that I'm using. I don't mind. I don't mind that. And wipe off the paint. I'm lifting some of this up so it's not so heavy, not so thick. I'll come back with teeny tiny brush. Okay, I got to really work on this sky. Let's go with a round brush. I think that'll be helpful. All right, I want some of the magenta. It's a very soft bristle brush, or it's not bristle. Wait, I don't even know what kind it is. Utrecht Sablette. Yay. That means it's not a real sable brush, but kind of acts like one, which is very nice. Okay, that is too bright. Need to soften it with a little more orange. It's really a peachy tone in the sky. Okay, now I squint my eyes and I'm too light, so I'm going to go back with the magenta, with a little purple. Neutralize purple with a little of the... Okay, the sky is more purple, bluish purple. I mean, not the sky, I'm sorry, the clouds. Clouds are kind of a pale lavender. Lavender, that's too blue. If I want to neutralize lavender, I add the yellow ochre. That's closer to what's there. Not quite. I think my paint's too dry. I don't want to mess up that light that I have coming there. So just lay in some more cloud-like shapes. And right now it's hard to tell what's the clouds and what's the background. But hopefully when I add some more color on these, you'll be able to tell. And how much time do I have? Oh gosh, it's not going to be, I have like 28 seconds. That didn't go so well. Yep, time's up. See? Time's up. Darn it. Okay, well, all right, so let's go another 15 minutes and let's see what I can do. See if I can make this work in under 30 minutes. When you have a really soft brush, you just barely touch and the paint comes off, making this more of a solid cloud over here. I want to take out excess water. So I'm going to add some of this reflected light up in the clouds. I'm going to soften this orange that I did down here, but I still want it vibrant. So got to be careful where the purple is, because if the purple mixes with it too much, then it dulls it down. I was using, okay. One thing I'm going to do when I'm through with this is I'm going to use some new pastel sticks, these two right here, to help with the glow. I've never tried that, but I saw James Gurney use it. So now I have nothing on my brush but a damp brush, and I'm softening these edges and barely touching the paper. That looks too solid, so I'm going to lift up some of that. Because my brush is damp, it can move some of the paint. But you got to be really careful because you don't want to lift up too much, like I almost did there. Okay, that tree looks like a real blob, so I'm going to add some of the sky color in clusters on it. I'm trying to squint and see what the picture has because that picture's tiny. I'll bring some up high, a little higher, break that up. And we'll lay in some little more vibrant. I'm thinking this could be like a Texas landscape. Could be. I'm sure there's a lot of other places that it could be. I don't want to add too much color on this side. Okay, a little bit brighter in the sky, right around in here, where it kind of blurs out the color of the clouds because of the glow of the warmth. All right, I think the distant hill back here, it almost looks too foggy. So I'm going to come back here. Oh, that's too dark. Drag some of that down. I'll make it more of a hill. Don't want it quite that flat. Now, if it's Texas, it'd probably be that flat, but West Texas might not be. Okay, and break up this tree. This is where I might lift off some of that. Yeah, there we go. That does better. Sometimes, if covering up doesn't work, then try lifting out. It's a little hard of an edge to be that far back. So coming back, just lightly touching the edge of this tree, softening that edge to visually push it back a little bit. Just kind of bounce along there. Blur that a little bit. Okay, I'm going to hold it up now so I can see it. It's not too bad. I'm all right with that. Okay, what I definitely want is I want a broader baseline of trees further off in here. And I know that's pretty dark, but I'm going to make this a little darker. Now I want warmth. The warmest color on the color wheel is orange because it's made of both the primary colors that are warm. So I'm going to give a little bit more warmth on the edge of that because of that. Blurring those out a little bit more. Okay, so I'm looking now, does this look like water? Not really. So I need to add a little more sky reflection here that's more yellow. And what if, oh, see, that's, okay, trouble I'm having, look, I'm painting on my tape. So that's not going to do any good. All right, I need to get rid, look at this. I didn't even notice this. See, if I pull this off, see, well, I didn't even know if that, oh, I'll just leave it. Could be water, might not be. All right. Now take a look at that. It's still too wet. I want a little more definition in that tree because it's on the back side of the light. So a little more shadowy. Give it a nice dark shadow up underneath. And I'm trying to let this dry. Now that I know where the edge of the painting is. Okay, the sky is dry. This is not. Oops, sorry. So what I'm going to try to do is what James Gurney did. Don't know that I need it though. I'm going to take a little bit of this. I keep hitting, sorry. I did pretty good layering that other to create a glow. I want a little more orange in here. Now, very, very little in here because you don't want it to, you don't want it to get smeared when someone enjoys it at home if they decide to put it on a little easel. Okay, I can make it a little brighter in here. I think that added a little bit more. Let's try a little bit more glow right in here. I was trying to use the warmest tones of my new pastel that I have. I'm okay with that. Except that really, that little bit's a little distracting. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap this with water. Pick that up. I didn't like that. All right, if I tap that with water, what happens? I don't know. I lift it up. Oh, I know. I'm going to put a little bit of orange on this tree. A little bit of orange in here. Now that that's dry. Okay. Oh, hold on. I'm going to get a little lighter tone. Oop. I had to pause and go get some of my new pastel sticks because I'm looking over here and, sorry, it's lighter in there than, it's more light white, closer to white than yellow. So I have white, but I really don't, oops, I really don't want to use pure white. So I picked up this other color. So we're going to see, move that tape out of the way. All right, what I'm trying to do here is stay closer to the edges where it's more of a glow. Ooh, what do you think? Multimedia Artboard does have grit, a little bit of grit in it. So, okay, one thing I don't like is those two lines ending in the same spot. So we are going to change that. I can paint right on top of this. It'll just dissolve. That's a little too pink, so wipe it off. All right, there goes my other timer. Huh. All right, I did this in 30 minutes. What do you think? Not bad for 30 minutes. Okay, time's up. Done. All right, I want to add a tiny bit of the reflection of the pink down in the land and a little bit of that in the greenery. See, I just have very little on my brush. It's all right. I'm happy with that. Okay, 30-minute painting. I really enjoyed painting this today. I hope you enjoyed following along and seeing how I changed my mind and corrected things. And you'll notice a few times I got quiet, and that's when I really had to concentrate and fix my boo-boos or whatever else I was trying to do. So thanks for joining me. If you learned anything today, give me a thumbs up. Ask me questions. Let me know what you'd like to see me paint. Landscape is my happy place, so it'll probably be something like that. Have a great day. Come back and see me next week.